Amen. Okay. I think today's homework was the Old Testament books in order. We kind of jumped the gun last week a little bit. We did all of them. It was New Testament last week, and it was Old Testament this week. I'll take any volunteers that have been working on it. Allison, go ahead. It's okay. Okay, good. You just missed Jonah. You got it the first time, but not the second time. And then Isaiah, Jeremiah. That's good. Excellent. You got a 98. That's an A. That's. Oh, by the way, you're in the top 0.05% of Christians that know the Old Testament in the entire world. I made that statistic up, but I am probably pretty close. Hey, ask any Christian, do you name all the Old Testament books in the Bible? Ain't happening. Okay? Why would you want to memorize the books of the Bible in order? Why? Joe, why?
Timeline. Too late, pretty much.
Okay. Sure. To know where sections are in the Bible. Timeline. Good. Why else, Mike?
So that when you open up your Bible, you know if you're trying to find a specific book, and you know when you open up, okay, I have to go forward from where I am or backward from where I am.
Correct. Yeah. Find references faster. Know your Bible. Good. I think it's cool. If it's going to be the most important book, I think we should know it backwards and forwards. I think we should meditate in it. And if somebody were to quote and they would say, First Maccabees, you'd be like, or what, Tobit? You're like, what? Right? First Christopher 3:5. You're like, what? False doctrine. Anybody else worked on it? You want to practice? All right, go ahead. Okay, Jonah. I forgot Jonah. Poor guy. He's like, that dude went through some stuff. And he's like, no. Forget me. This is going to be a really fun class today. But let me share my thoughts first on the class, because we're going to talk about contradictions today. First of all, I was really worried about contradictions, opening up that can of worms, right? And we talked about variance last week, and hopefully that helped you, realizing how ridiculous if somebody say the Bible has variance in its copies. You could say good, and you would know how to explain to them why variants are good. Those so many variants means there's so many copies to go from. This has renewed my confidence in the Bible and in the Bible that we have today. Absolutely, without a doubt, I have a renewed confidence and a renewed faith in the Bible that we have today, coming from the original Hebrew and Greek and the copies verifying each other. So I was a little bit worried about contradictions because I thought I would run into a lot that would really trip me up. There are some that are a little bit harder than others. And so what we're going to do today is this is going to be a lot of class participation today. You and I together are going to come up with, okay, reasonable explanation to contradictions in the Bible. Reasonable, okay? Reasonable common sense. Reasonable, well, that makes sense. Reasonable. What some critics could have you believe is, oh, the Bible's just full of contradictions, therefore, it can't be absolute telling me about salvation or that Jesus is the only way. They want you to believe that contradictions make the whole Bible invalid. After today, you will scoff at them. You will laugh. You will, contradictions. In fact, the Bible contradicts itself. Give me your best one. Tell me your best one. Bring it on. Today will be that. What we're going to do is we're going to show you a contradiction, quote unquote contradiction, and then we're going to give it a reasonable explanation for it together, okay? And we'll see how far this goes today, and then we can go a little bit of review if there's extra time. There may or may not. I don't know, okay? The first one, here's the first one, okay? And let me explain something before we dissect this. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. You have 4 Gospels, which means you have 4 different authors, which means you have 4 different perspectives, 4 different views, 4 different personalities, 4 different styles of writing, right? Okay, you're on the side of the road, you're on this side of the road, and your wife is on this side of the road, and you're looking in, and a red car is driving this way, and a blue car is driving this way, and they have an accident. Boom, they hit. Police comes, he gets a report. What'd you see? Dude, I know this was a hard hit because the carburetor was all the way, by the steering wheel. What did you see? I know it was a hard hit. I heard people screaming. I didn't hear anybody scream. Oh no, they were screaming. Is that a contradiction? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The perspective was, I saw the crash. It was impactful. I know about cars. I was wondering if anybody's going to be hurt because I saw the impact. And I know that if the carburetor is by the steering wheel, something's bad is happening. All right, you tell me what happened. Oh, man, the blue car hit the red car. No, the red car hit the blue car. Is that a contradiction? No, it's a perspective. It's a point of view. It's what one person perhaps noticed a detail that the other one didn't. I heard glass and screaming was there kids there or not? I don't know. The people gathered around. It was an event, right? You have different witnesses at different views that see things from different perspectives, right? So you have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You have 4 different perspectives, views, ways of viewing things, the ways you see things. My illustration is very crude and very raw, but the point is that we're going to see things from different perspectives. How you see it, how you process it is different than somebody else. Okay? So here we have, let me explain the contradictions that I put up here. I think we have 10 today, 10. These are the most common and perhaps the ones that most people would bring up as, hey, this is my best contradiction in the Bible. And you could be prepared now. You could study these if you wanted. If you have an atheist friend, maybe, I don't know. But these are some of them. So above, when Jesus was crucified, there's a sign that was put up above him, okay? And the sign was basically mocking, okay? And The Romans were like, here's your king being crucified, right? And so in Matthew, this is Jesus, King of the Jews. Mark, it says, the King of the Jews. Luke, it says, this is the King of the Jews. In John, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. 4 different gospels, 4 different things that are said. Is this a contradiction? Well, for face value, yeah, I mean, this guy says it says this guy says it is this. Therefore, the whole Bible we can just throw in the trash. Yes or no? Well, no. Okay, so now we start class participation. And sometimes you guys are chatty, and sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're rambunctious, and sometimes not. We'll just see how you are today, okay? Ready. Give me an explanation. All right, Peter, we're going to start with you.
There's 4 different accounts that, we're all human, so we always see slightly different things,
Okay. So, what one author said, I'm going to play, I don't know, can you use the word devil's advocate in a church? Pharisees advocate. Oh, Mike, you're so creative. I'm going to play the counterpart. Okay, I guess it's kind of maybe an argument. What else? Talk to me. Yes. Okay. 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 Hey, what did it say? Oh, he was the King of the Jews. Boom. Is that reasonable? Skeptics in here. Is that a reasonable explanation? Would you accept that? Yes or no? This is discussion. I wrestled with this. I thought about it. I have my thoughts as well. Kind of goes along with that. Connie, you have something else to add?
Well, yeah, just like you said, if someone says it, they're like, oh, what did he get crucified for? Oh, because he said he was the King of the Jews.
Okay. Great. Does it say that he is a lawyer defending the case of Caesar? Or accusing Caesar, right? Let me explain it. I'm trying to think of something totally far out. Okay, let's keep going, and then we're going to come back to you because that's a good argument. Yes, Khalif. Great thought. That's what I'm looking for. That's so reasonable. Yeah, so anybody that's listening, he says, I would probably be skeptical if it said the exact same thing on all of them maybe. But there are scriptures that do have the exact saying, quote by quote. So I'm not disturbed by the fact that these are a little bit different. Hey, humans, they're writing. What else? Great, keep that thought. That's my ultimate thought. What do you think this is saying about these 4 Gospels, the Synoptic Gospels? What do you think it's saying? He was crucified for being King of the Jews. Right? Okay, Roman?
So the way I see it is if you're in the court of law and you have witnesses, and you have 4 different witnesses that are correlating the same event, then the event is deemed to be true.
So this dovetails on what Khalif is saying. We got 4 witnesses. We have people that saw this. And man, they're saying basically the same thing.
Well, it's correlating the same event.
Correlating the event, a big event. Yes, Tita.
I wouldn't have thought of this before, but since we studied that you mentioned all the thousands of copies
Yes.
of the Bible, that could probably be it. Just different copies with the same thought, but missing.
Okay. let's look at worst case scenario. Tita, great point. Worst case scenario, 2,025 years later, 20,000 copies of the Bible. And this is the difference we get that says basically the same thing. It's reasonable. That's reasonable. James.
So even with that context of different, it says King of the Jews 4 times.
Okay,
So that is a consistency.
correct.
And also, when you think about it, something that was brought up before was it's not necessarily verbatim for word, it's about the meaning. And
Okay.
the meaning is still there in all of them. It doesn't contradict them.
Okay, as a skeptic, I would say, well, I wonder how many other things were added by men that would skew other thoughts or other agendas, political agendas. I don't see a political agenda here. I don't see anything that would skew. Give me a better contradiction than that. Okay? And what we're talking, listen, we're talking maybe 15 contradictions that these atheists that study this, they're looking for anything to get us on. We got 10 that will make our brain work today, but I'm saying that's your best. That would be a joke, right? One last thought, yes?
I think it's just you deal with humans in general. We all can see the same thing but say it in different ways. Like
Good.
if President Trump was here, I might say, "Oh, President Trump." Somebody would say, "Oh, the president," or "Oh, the United States president." I mean, we're all saying the same thing, but we all have
Great point. Okay, great point. And that also goes back to last week when you were hunting elk, right? Last week when we talked about variants, where different translations, it's called an extension of piety. They just added more titles on it to the same person to bring clarity. So that's a great point, Bernice. Okay, let's keep moving unless you have a pressing thought. We all agree? Anybody like? Now we're Christians here. We're not trying to cherry pick. We're trying to conclude that. Let's keep going. Did Jesus answer his accusers? This is a big one that skeptics use as contradictions. Go ahead, Joe, read that first one.
Matthew 27:11. Now Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus said to him, "It is as you say." And while he was being accused by the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Then Pilate said to him, Do you not hear how many things they testify against you? But he answered him not one word, so that the governor marveled greatly. John 18:33. Then Pilate entered the praetorium
Good,
and called Jesus and said to him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus answered him, "Are you speaking for yourself about this, or did others tell you this concerning me?"
Now, I have had time to think on this, sleep on this, and it's so obvious that we would just laugh it away, okay? Laugh it away. They say, okay, their argument would be, okay, did he say a word or did he not? That's their argument for this contradiction, quote unquote contradiction in the Bible. Bring it on. You might need time to think, but maybe as somebody takes a stab at it, it'll trigger a thought. They said, they have a problem with this. Here's what they have a problem. He answered him not one word. Okay, we obviously know in the same paragraph he's talking. They want to know, why does the Bible say he didn't say one word, like he's just mute? Did he talk or did he not? That's the contradiction. What are your thoughts? You had a hand? Anybody? Somebody did. Nope. Mike, go ahead. Start it off.
It says he answered him not one word. But in John, that's not an answer. He's asking a question. So he's not answering Pilate's question. He's asking Pilate a different question. Are you speaking this about...
That puts us on the map. Okay? If I'm just going to be very honest so we have banter, so we go back and forth, right? That's a weak argument. It's an okay argument. But we need more to that. You are definitely right. You're going in the right direction. Let's think why. Yep. And if you want to rebuttal, go ahead.
He did answer. He said it was actually saying, and he didn't have to say anything else after that. So he didn't need to keep speaking and John and all that because he said it is as you say.
Okay. What Tita's saying is, I'm done. I said what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say any more. You know who I am. Remember Pilate. You know Pilate's going through a crisis of faith here. One, he wants to save his job. Okay. And on the other hand, he knows who Jesus is. So now he's got a dilemma on his hands, literally, because he washes his hands in front of the people. He says, "Hey, you decide." Right? So he's caught. Jesus is talking to him. Tita says, "I'm done talking to you. I don't need to say another word about it." That's her take on it. Yes. Okay, but you could see how the skeptics would say he answered nothing. He answered him not one word. I would look at it as past tense. He answered him not a word. Right? That's the way I would look at it. So we could conclude reasonably. He ended the conversation. No more. I'm done telling you who I am and what I am. That is on the map of reasonable. Khalif. Okay, he got it. He nailed it. He nailed it. He answered not a word in his defense to get him from not being crucified. What is he being questioned for right now? He's on trial to be crucified. He answered not a word to not be crucified. He could have said, "All right, Pilate, these people are plotting against me. And they're wrong because they don't like me being the king. They've got no case against me. They've got no accusation against me. It would be your moral obligation to let me go. Here's my evidence." He didn't say that. He went to the cross. Answering not a word means he's not defending himself. That's what that means. That is the reasonable explanation. Okay? Mike? Mm-hmm.
And it seems like that happened, Pilate left, and John 13,
Okay.
33,
Yeah.
Pilate entered it again.
Yeah. So what's happening here is the Jews are not going into a Roman court. The Pharisees and the Sadducees consider Gentiles as a plague. They're not going to get involved. They're not going to go into the court. They're not going to watch this thing happen. And one, they just want the end result. They want Jesus crucified. So basically not one word has to do with that. Okay? I want us, just today, all right, we're not going to be masters in apologetics and go debate on college campuses, the Bible, but what I want us to do is use our brain and say, hey, there's a contradiction. Well, show me, give me your best one, and let's talk it through. Let's be reasonable. Because face it, if somebody doesn't want to believe Jesus Christ, and they're against this all the way, they're gonna do whatever they can to try to discredit the Bible. I'm just reasonable for us together. These aren't really contradictions, right? He didn't say a word. Okay, wife confronts me, where were you? Well, I went over here and there, and then the friend says, well, what did he say? Oh, he didn't say a word. Well, did he say a word, or where were you? he didn't say a word means he didn't say a word that would accept or deny. Cool? All right. What color was Jesus' robe? Okay, ready? They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him, says Matthew. Mark, they clothed him with purple. John says they put a purple robe on him. This is just going to discredit the whole Bible, isn't it? Right? This is ludicrous. And these are their talking points. These are what they would say the Bible contradicts itself. It almost encourages me. Let's look at a reasonable explanation why we got these different. Zach.
It's just like the difference between me and one of my shipmates sees purple in scarlet.
Okay. Do you guys remember the meme of the gold and white dress, but it was really blue and black based on the different colors or whatever? So reasonable explanation, okay, in Portuguese, roxa is a black eye, but it's purple. It's a color that's in between, sure. Okay? Reasonable, yes.
Another issue could be somebody that's colorblind, they don't see the color. That would be the quote.
Technically, you are right? I don't know how far that will go with too many skeptics. Maybe Matthew was colorblind and he wrote on there. That is a possibility. I think it's weak. I wouldn't use that as much. What would you use? Joseph?
Maybe the scarlet and purple in Greek are similar to horse and gentle.
Okay. Could be,
But I don't know.
right, we don't know. We would have to look at the Greek on that. I think that also, why could it not been multicolored? Why couldn't it have been colored, but blood makes it a deeper dark red? I mean, blood does change the color of things, and when you see it dry, it turns darker. It could be that. I'm just telling you that this is what they use to say that the Bible contradicts itself. And that's all we're doing. We're just students. We're kind of analyzing it, right? Roman?
So a lot of times, like, I'm pretty bad at color, so I think it's what it is. But my wife's like, no, it's this. So I'm like, it's red. She's like, no, it's maroon.
Right, yeah, got you. That's reasonable. That's reasonable. Anybody else? Yes, Tita.
I mean, Matthew, Mark, and John, maybe from different regions, from, like they say, back when the languages were confused, and they were from there down, maybe they just call purple different.
Correct, yeah. I don't even, yeah, you like mauve? What's that, right? Or taupe? Is that brown? Is that, is it green? I don't know, yes. Okay. But remember, I want to find a contradiction that discredits that Jesus Christ. Hold on. I want to find a discrepancy that discredits Jesus Christ as the only way, the salvation, the way, the truth, and the life. Does this do this for me? Tell them, are you kidding me? See what I'm saying? So it's so easy and irresponsible and sloppy to say the Bible contradicts itself, therefore Jesus isn't the Savior. That would be the point here, that this would be ridiculous. Yes?
If you just take that in no context, they're actually completely disconnected if you wanted to really look into it, because it says they stripped him and put a red robe on him. And then, no context, they put purple on him. Maybe they did it twice.
Okay. Oh, that is a possibility. They could have put another one on. Probably not. It could have been multicolor. It could have been a different robe. It could have been. Right? We don't know for sure. That would be a weaker excuse, but it's possible. Yes.
To me, just having three different observations of the same event correlates to the event.
Okay, so look at how Romans come back with his argument. Is the argument what color his robe was, or this man was beaten, tortured, taken to the cross? So we could have an argument what is the essence? What is happening here? Okay, that's good. It's fine. Let's go to another one. We got a bunch. This is how I imagined it. Mike, go ahead. Read the whole thing.
Okay, Matthew 27:32. Now as they came out, they found a man of Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. Mark 15:21. Then they compelled a certain man, Simon of Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus, as he was coming out of the country and passing by, to bear his cross. Luke 23:26. Now as they led him away, they laid hold of a certain man, Simon the Cyrenian, who was coming from the country, and they laid on him the cross that he might bear it after Jesus. John 19:17. And he, bearing his cross, went out of the place called the place of the skull, which was called in Hebrew, Golgotha.
Let's go with just John for a second. If you just read John, only John of the four Gospels, you would never know, perhaps, that somebody else carried the cross on the way from where he was tortured to Golgotha to be crucified, right? So is this a contradiction? Okay, why is this not a contradiction? Mike, go ahead.
So each of the Gospels is actually focused on a different aspect of Christ, viewing him from a different way. John is focused on who he was as the Word of God. Mark is the action one. This is all about what he did. Matthew is all about who he was as the Messiah to the Jews, and Luke is all about who he was as a man. So when you're viewing the same situation from different aspects, you're going to have different things that focus more than...
Okay, your argument is perspective. Remember, blue car hits red car. Man sees oil, coolant, smells coolant. Woman sees kids, wife screaming, something that happened. I'm fine with it. Okay, but let's go further. You had a thought? Awesome. Perfect. They left out that detail, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. That's reasonable. Any logical, reasonable person say they just left that part out. Jesus bore his cross. He looked at it symbolically and literally. Here's another thought. Well, I can't. You go. Yes. Yes. Okay. Correct. Love it. That's why there's four Gospels. Why are there four in the Bible? Obviously, by the Spirit of God, He wants us to see different angles and blend some things together, even though they're not exactly the same. Why would you have four same copies in the same? You'd be like, well, four of the same, three aren't needed. Yes, Jason?
I would think it'd be more concerning if it was the opposite. So if only John's gospel shared that detail, but the three others didn't, it would be more concerning as to why didn't the three other gospels share?
Okay, 3 does show this, right? It puts a little bit more emphasis on it. So when you're comparing the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, why do 3 say it? Or there's some 4 have one account. John, there's only one account of the woman caught in adultery, right? There's some significance to that. We'll move this way. Joseph?
Maybe it just means that while Jesus was carrying his cross on the way to Golgotha, he collapsed, and Simon of Cyrene with his 2 kids, Alexander and Rufus, were standing there coming in from the country, and the Roman soldiers made him pick it up and carry the rest away, and then they crucified him.
That's a good one. That's totally reasonable. They both did. And he could have collapsed. They could have started. Tradition is they just carry the I-beam. They just carry the I-beam, the cross part up to that place. Jesus is already beaten. He's bleeding profusely. He's dehydrated. Hey, you carry it for him. Both did. Is that reasonable? Would you get mad at me? Would you get mad at anybody for that reasonable explanation? Roman?
Again, 4 different witnesses confirming the same event.
Okay, good. Yeah, I like it. Okay, all right. We will not. Yes.
It's also, so Jesus is walking, so it's a journey, a path that's taking place. So these could be happening at different points on that path rather than just one specific incident.
Exactly. Yeah, and we're going to look at another one that there's a period of time. It didn't go, okay, and then Jesus took 3 steps, went to his knee for 5 seconds, got up. We would be reading all day long, right? These are the highlights. These are what's happening. Let me talk about the AI comment for a minute. What Roman is saying is, if you were to throw this into an impartial computer, the computer would say, "Don't be stupid." It would. The computer would say, "Don't be stupid." Of course, he carried it, and the possibility is that this guy did as well. A greater possibility that they both did, right? That would be a neutral way of looking at it. But the problem is humans are emotional. They have bias to push a certain agenda, okay? We can keep repeating ourselves. If they want to find something wrong because they don't want to serve Jesus, they would, right? We're just doing the exercise of these real quick. Time's going by quick. How long was Jesus in the tomb? This is tricky. They're going to get trickier. They're going to get harder. For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish, so the Son of Man will be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. They will scourge him and kill him, and the 3rd day he will rise again. Wouldn't 3 days and 3 nights be the 4th day? Now after the Sabbath, the first day of the week, which was Sunday, began at dawn. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to see the tomb. So was he in the tomb 3 days and 3 nights or not? Would be the argument. All right, Joseph, start it.
It's a matter of how you count. The day ended at sundown, so officially the day he died was the first night.
Okay.
And just kind of like whenever you think about like how
Day he died Friday,
right.
Saturday night.
But do you count the first day as the whole day, or do you count like?
Okay, so he has a great point. In Bible days, any part of the day was a day. Any part of the day was a day. Okay? Any part of the day was a day. 3rd day, 3 days, 3 nights was a term. Maybe, 3 days, and it was just poetic. 3 days and 3 nights. Any other thoughts? Okay. Okay. Well, he rose again on Sunday. At dawn on Sunday. Yeah, I know. And I've gone through it over and over in my mind. I've even gone so far in the past to say he was crucified on Wednesday or whatever, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday through the night, rose again on Sunday. 3 days, 3 nights. So that would change the day of the crucifixion. 3rd day, he rose. Okay? That's a reasonable explanation. Does that change anything? Well, it would change school lunch on Fridays. Anyway, you'll get it. Go ahead, Mike.
So that was exactly what I was going to say. The tradition in the church is that it was crucifixion on a Friday, but most evidence shows that it was actually a Wednesday crucifixion because the word actually used is a plural for Sabbath. It was now after the Sabbath.
Okay.
Because this was a special time of year that
I will neither confirm nor deny because it doesn't matter if he was crucified on a Wednesday or a Friday. Okay, right? Could be. Not saying yes, not saying no. Tradition, it was a Friday. Okay? We don't have other evidence to believe. But what I'm saying, let's get back to the heart of the issue. Is this a contradiction? On the 3rd day, he rose again. There's no contradiction here at all. And the explanation could be that they counted a whole day if he was crucified on Friday. They just counted it. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 3rd day. Rose again. 3 days, 3 nights. The controversy in the Contradiction would be, well, what about that third night? Jewish tradition. They just counted it. Are you okay with that? I'm leaving the church. No, you would never. You would never. Did both criminals, oh, that's revile, not review. Sorry. See? See what I mean? Pastor made a mistake. He can't judge. Even the robbers who crucified with him reviled him with the same thing. Then one of the criminals who hanged blasphemed him, saying, "If you are the Christ, save yourself." So was it all of them or just one? Put on your analytical thinking cap. Yes, James.
So with this, you got to keep in mind that there's multiple accounts. We're only looking at two of them. But the whole point of it is, if you look at one and it doesn't fully tell the story, it's based on perspective. They may be focusing on one part of the story, not telling you the whole context of everything that happened. Like you said,
Correct.
every little bit.
That's reasonable to me.
Chronological order.
That's reasonable to me, yes.
Story, you focus on your point.
That's reasonable. 3 hours, they're there on the cross. What, somebody was just like for 3 hours just listening to every conversation that they're having? No, that's not reasonable. That doesn't hold up in the court of law. No, not good enough. Objection. And so that wouldn't, yes.
So yeah, the details are different from two eyewitnesses, but the point is there were two eyewitnesses of the same event.
Correct. That's good. Let's just for time's sake, get a couple more here very quickly. But could it be that this one criminal, he converted? He reviled him and then he converted. So there's a lot that could happen there. But that is one of their arguments. So go very quickly. How did Judas die? He threw down the piece of silver and he went out and hanged himself. Okay. But then Acts says this man purchased a field with wages of iniquity, falling headlong. He burst open in the middle and all his entrails gushed out. You got to love the Bible. You got to love the Bible. Is this a contradiction? Or could both have happened? Both could have happened easily. Rope could have broke, fell. When they're cutting him down, fell. Entrails, he just splattered everywhere. You fill up with fluid. Right? It's nasty. Good enough argument? Who bought Joseph? The Midianite traders passed by, so the brothers pulled Joseph up, lifted him out of the pit, sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 shekels of silver, and they took Joseph to Egypt. Okay, same chapter. Now the Midianites had sold him into Egypt, in Egypt, to Potiphar, an officer of the Pharaoh and captain of the guard. Midianites sold him, or the Ishmaelites sold him? Joseph? Yes. They could have been mixed together because of their descendancy. One came from Esau. Their descendancies mixed together. You could say, an American or a Virginian. Right? They're the same thing. Could have been. That is reasonable. Another thought.
Also in verse 28, it just said that the Israelites took him to Egypt. It says nothing about selling him to Egypt.
Okay, very good. One could have been the Uber, the taxi, the people that were with them. No problem there, right? He got sold to Egypt. I can understand. I'll give you credit. Hey, that seems like a contradiction. Midianites sold him. The Ishmaelites sold him. Well, there are reasonable explanations to this. But now we're really nitpicking, right? We look at that. We're zoomed in on this today. But if you zoom out and look at the whole Bible, and you can only come up with 10, and this is your best, you've got a very weak argument that the Bible just contradicts itself, and you can discount it. I've said this, 35 times today? This is one you'll always come up against, okay? In Genesis 1, the order was plants, animals, man, and woman, okay? In Genesis 2, man, plants, animal, woman, okay? And I'm just going to give you the answer because we're out of time, okay? Genesis 1 was the very analytical, day by day, okay? Genesis 2 is focusing on the sixth day. There were certain plants that now are going to be fruit-bearing plants, certain animals that he was dealing with. It's amplifying the sixth day. It is not necessarily logical order. The Genesis 1's logical order, boom, this. The other one is the human side, the humanity side of it. So it's just two different perspectives. They don't contradict at all. They just amplify, okay? Last one, is God seen or unseen? I saved the worst one for last, the best one, the worst one, the hardest one. This is the one that I would use if I were an atheist. I still would be so weak, but no one has seen God at any time, John says. Exodus 30, so the Lord spoke to Moses face to face as a man speaks to his friend. I want to watch your brains on this one. Joseph, go ahead.
John's being general, we can't see God because he's invisible, whatever. Or in Exodus, it was a Christophany where it was Jesus who is the image of the invisible God on earth, and so Moses was actually talking to Jesus, not the Father.
That's a stretch. I like it. You almost had me. How God showed up to Moses, right? You have Joshua. The commander showed up to him and he goes, "Who are you? Are you an adversary or not?" Jesus showed up in a different form of an angel. Jacob wrestled with an angel, capital A, angel. So the form could be that, sure. Yes, other thoughts? Yes, Mimi. That's exactly what that means. Hey, I talked to him face to face. Like, that is a term meaning, man, one-on-one personal, not general, very personal. Great thought. Yes. Yes.
My first thought is just because face-to-face doesn't mean
Okay, nah. Objection, Your Honor. Okay, face-to-face doesn't mean that he what?
like that he physically laid eyes on him. Like it's just, to me, I see it as a conversation was had, but that doesn't mean he physically saw the form of God in his presence.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that. This was as a man speaks to his friend. You got to understand, God didn't just appear to people all the time, anywhere and everywhere. This was very special. Remember when his sister and Aaron spoke against him, and God said, "Listen, I don't talk to people very often like I talk to Moses, and don't mess with him. I have a personal relationship with him. Very, very well could mean that. We have literally 1 minute. Go.
Well, I was going to say, how about the word Lord there? Does that translate as God, or does it translate as God?
No, that Lord right there, all caps. That would be the Yahweh. Okay, not Joe. Stop, you instigator. Yes.
I have a question regarding, Moses asked to see God's glory, but God said, "You cannot see my face, but you can see my back parts."
Yes.
I'm hiding in the cleft.
Awesome.
So Moses saw God, but he only saw his back parts.
Right.
I'm trying to understand how that.
Sure.
When later on Moses saw
Face to face. This would trip me up too. I'll tell you right now. Saw him face to face. This could mean what we just said. Personal. I'm speaking to him, right? Hey, the face to face thing. Not necessarily that he saw all of his glory. What else do you think, James, and then Tita, and then we got to stop.
That would be contradicting because Jesus saw God, right?
Well, Jesus was God.
But that's my point. In the context of everything you're saying, Jesus is in there, and
Okay.
it says no one has seen God, but Jesus has seen God, and he's in the Bible. So the context is that not referring to everyone in a sense.
Okay. I don't know. I'd have to think that through. Okay, of course. Weak argument. It is a valid argument. on the weaker side of that argument. Are you okay with that? No.
I'm talking about from the perspective of the other side, not from the perspective of proving it.
Okay, I want the perspective of a skeptic that says, hey, the Bible contradicts itself, therefore it is no good anymore.
I'm a skeptic. Jesus saw God.
Okay, let me,
That's what I'm saying.
fine,
I'm versing.
got you.
Yeah.
Last one. You're in court all the time. Would this discount the entire Bible?
No, and when we're giving our testimony in court, if they nitpick at what we say, it's because they have nothing else to say against what we've proven.
Okay, right. So that would be it. Face to face doesn't mean, that this, no, God is glorious. We would melt in His presence if He's in the presence of sin. We are sinners. We wouldn't make it, right? There's obviously some kind of relationship that Moses has, and God is speaking to him. It's not that he just entered into His presence, and so it wouldn't hold up in court. It wouldn't. So hopefully this helps you. It also shows that we are willing to admit, hey, there are some things in our Bible that don't make total sense at first thought. There's some mystery involved in it. We're not going to be so defensive in the fact that no, yeah, you know what, yeah, this would trip me up. Yeah, let me think about it. No, and then we did what we did here. So when you tell your friend the Bible contradicts itself, just say, just give me your best one and let's look at it. And you just do this. And you try to win your friend over instead of trying to defend. There are reasonable explanations for some of these contradictions. And it's written by man, perspective, all kinds of things influence. Doesn't change the fact that you need to quit. Quit sinning.